I'm in a text thread with some girlfriends, and this came through. November, no being lazy, no excuses, no quitting, no regrets. I normally spend the last part of the year slowing down, visualizing, dreaming, writing down what I want to do, be, or accomplish in the upcoming year. I feel like it gives me a lot of peace and less pressure and stress going into the new year, already having had practice, working out some kinks, shifting and re strategizing based on what I discover maybe the hiccups and speed bumps and challenges that will show up, and not romanticizing a perfect execution. I think a lot of people, what I've seen in the past when I was in the fitness industry for over 20 years, is that we tend to romanticize goal setting or New Year's resolutions, thinking that everything's going to run smoothly and we're just going to execute without any flaws. But that's not the case. And so, having had that practice and having a clear understanding of what challenges or what our distractions are really helps. Number two, before setting goals, I highly recommend listing the things you've accomplished and doing really well and want to keep doing in the new year. I think we can fall into a toxic narrative that we are always broken and there's something wrong with us. We're always having to fix ourselves. And then we end up believing that we can't have a beautiful life until somehow we're cured or fixed or have this perfect lifestyle and habits. And that day, undetermined day in the future can be very elusive. So, writing down what you're doing well can really help with the mental health, your confidence. And this is what I've given my kudos or gold stars for so far is working out 5 days a week. I put that back into my lifestyle after closing the gym. Intermittent fasting 14 to 16 hours a day has helped my energy level a lot. Juicing daily was originally for my auntie and her health, but then it spilled over to me, and I'm so grateful because it's helped me with my health also. And then things that I do that are supposed to be a given, or I think is a given, I shouldn't give myself any credit for because I'm supposed to be doing it, is taking care of my auntie and her needs, her exercises, her hygiene and shower, keeping her room clean and doing her laundry, like the everyday mundane things that we think is, a given. It's just something you're supposed to do, but we never give ourselves credit for. Give ourselves that pat on the back. We deserve it. It helps with our confidence and moving into the next year, giving us that sense of empowerment that I can make things happen. Now, with confidence, I can make a list of things I want to create and do in the new year. And learning Spanish is a huge one. I've already put down, or my husband and I have put down our money for our retreat space or our home in Mexico. I've put off learning Spanish for too long. I learned Tagalog instead of Spanish during the pandemic. And then weekly painting and journaling or paint journaling has been a great helpful tool and technique for my mental health. And I just don't do it enough. And so putting it on the schedule and then making a priority, having boundaries around time for my meditation, non-negotiable time and schedule for my meditations is hugely important because I notice what my life is like when I let it slide. And also keeping my house tidy and organized and clean. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but what I've found is that it greatly affects my mental health and my emotions when I procrastinate and I let things go too far and pile up, and then having to do it when it's like a big job instead of when it's still a little job. Another thing I want to be or I will become, or I am being more consistent about is my weekly YouTube and podcast episodes. I know it's not going to be perfect. I know I'm going to have times in life where it's going to be more challenging than others. But to be in progress, to do better this year than I've done in past years is going to be so fulfilling for me. And not be in my head about who's listening, if it's good enough for the majority. Is anyone going to want to listen or watch my channel or subscribe? But doing it because I know that adding positive, good intentions, good frequency and vibrations in the world is a part of my calling, and to do it no matter what. All right, walking outside regularly also grounds me, takes a lot of the negative energy from my body and my mind, and I can't keep using the excuse of weather. I lived in Washington state for all my life practically, except for the few years I moved to California. But most of my life, I've lived here. I know what the weather is like, but I will put off something till tomorrow. And that's not a good idea because tomorrow might be the rainiest day of the week. So, looking at the forecast, the 10-day forecast, finding out which days are going to be the most desirable for a walk needs to be put in the schedule, that with the knowledge of the other days are going to be worse. So, you better take advantage when you have it. Personal growth is a huge thing for me. Since I was 18, I read my first self-help book. I think it was Barbara DeAngelis. I can't remember the name of the book, but I remember that she was the author, and it was about dating. And since then, I've loved self-help books, and it's helped me greatly develop into the human that I am today. But having those walks and doing the audiobooks at the same time, it's worked miracles, and I can tell in my life what happens when I'm not in it, when I'm not listening to great teachers and great teachings. My life does not always run smoothly, but when I'm in that positive frequency and regularly, it is beautiful. And I know that grooming my dog on a regular basis, again, not putting off things and letting it get too far, can be a way of giving myself less stress. And then having time, scheduled time to care for my indoor plants. That's something that I started doing during the pandemic, was learning to have a green thumb, something I did not have naturally. I had to learn. So if you ever think, oh, I can't do that XYZ thing, you can learn it. Anybody can. Just think of Neo in the Matrix. We can download the information. Audiobooks help. So does YouTube. One thing I really have to actually do, is be very clear and honest about what my challenges and roadblocks are, aka my excuses. And the biggest ones for me recently has been Netflix, Prime TV, and Disney Plus. Knowing what I know, I can then make better decisions of how to move forward in life. To see the show continue and flourish, please like and subscribe. Also share with a friend. Then go to my website, slayandshine.com. Visit the recommended reading page. There you'll find my affiliate link to Amazon's Audible books. Enjoy a free month of learning, growing, and listening. Be blessed, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again.